Hello, my name is Christopher John Payne, and for the last 20 years I've been helping people move forward dramatically in their lives, especially if they've gone through a great deal of adversity, such as great trauma or a relationship issue, bankruptcy, and help them to build a business of significant income. And my main website is here at tryandgroverchallenges.com, and this is what it looks like. A couple of years ago, when I got my iPhone, I was really interested in getting hold of some excellent productivity apps, and it wasn't long before I came across a particular app called The Habit Factor, and this is the icon for the app here. And what the Habit Factor does is it helps you set up habits to help you to move towards your goal. Great! I started using it, I thought it was terrific, and I started recommending it to my colleagues and friends. Now, around November 2010, the creator, the designer of this app, a guy called Martin Grunburg, produced and published a book called The Habit Factor, the same name. And when I found out that the book came out, I immediately ordered it, got it and devoured it, and very quickly realized this was a truly profound book, and I've read thousands of books over the years. And one of the things that really struck me about the Habit Factor is the way that Martin has really thought through just how powerful habits are. What really we tend to do in our lives is we set goals. We say, okay, I want to build a business earning and myself earning $100,000 or more a year, or I want to create a book, publish it and sell 50,000 copies, or I want to lose weight, so I'm now down to say 140 pounds and I want to do that within 3 months. And then what we do is we say, right, what are the action steps that we need to take to make that happen? Now, when you take something like, say, grow a business, and you start to look at all the different projects it's going to take to fulfill that goal, and then from the project start to break that down into individual steps, you soon realize there's hundreds of things that you need to do. And one of the things that I've done in my own life at times is I've almost found it very overwhelming, and it's like dogged determination got me through it. And I've had the same issue with my clients, helping them to keep on track and focus on the next action. And what's profound about what Martin talks about in his book, which I'd sort of got but only really understood it through Martin's insights, was that if we focus on the goals and the steps to do that, all the steps, it does become overwhelming. But if we say, what are the 3 to 5 habits that we need to do to fulfill that goal, and we do them on a consistent basis, then something remarkable happens. So if, say, somebody was saying what they want to do is to write a book, then one of the ways to construct a habit that's useful, is get up early. So that becomes a habit that you can lock. So you might say, I'm going to get up at 5:30 in the morning. The next habit is to write for a minimum of, say, 30 minutes a day. Now, for some people, that's too much, so you could reduce that to 15 minutes. But if you can do just 15 minutes a day for 300 days, you can imagine just how many hours that works out at, and you'll have the book created. So there's something remarkable about having daily habits and sticking to them that is remarkable. Now, even if you have a goal such as prospecting to find new customers for your business, and if you say, I'm going to do that for an hour each morning, then just that alone, let's say we're going to do that at 9:30. So if I was to show up at 9:30, and I know that that's my next thing to do is prospecting, then right, what's the smartest thing that I can do right now on the prospecting side? And then I go off and do that. So there's something about habits that's really profound. I really love this. Now, Martin, to illustrate this, talked about a great book that you may know of called Think and Grow Rich, which has sold several million copies. Now, out of all the books that millionaires have said have had the biggest contribution to their success, this is the one that many of them name more than any other book. And yet, not long after Napoleon Hill published this book, he started getting lessons from people saying that they had been using the book and had been taking action based on the book, but it wasn't working for him. And he came up with the concept of the law of cosmic habit force. And in Martin's book, The Habit Factor, he actually talks about this. And here is an extract from Martin's book with my underlining. And what Napoleon Hill realizes was that the students didn't consistently take action. While the students might be applying each principle at one time or another, there was a randomness. The students failed to create habits of the essential 15 principles of thought and action. So they were doing things sporadically and weren't setting up a series of habits to make sure that they were implementing the 15 principles in the book. I thought that was really profound. Now, you may have heard of something called TED.com. And if you go to TED.com, if you haven't already, you'll find that there are several hundred videos lasting between 7 and 18 minutes on creativity, the latest thinking about the brain, the latest thinking on education, and a whole lot more. Absolutely fabulous website. Well, the TED conference has been so successful in the States that the founder, Chris Anderson, and his team put together a concept called TEDx. And TEDx are independently organized TED events. So these can be held around the world, but just have to conform to certain parameters to get the license to run a TEDx event. Well, at the beginning of 2011, just over a month after Martin published his book, The Habit Factor, a colleague and I decided to create a TEDx event for our town. Now, our town is called Alain because although I'm from England, I've been living in England all my life up till now, I moved out here with my family to the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, which is Abu Dhabi, the centre itself, is about an hour from Dubai. I'm sure you've heard of Dubai. So while we were here, we're falling in love with the town here and got integrated into the community, the big expat community, and obviously a whole load of Emiratis. And we decided to create TEDx Alain, and the theme we chose was creating change. Now, when it came to select the speakers, there was one person I really wanted to come to TEDx Alain, and that was Martin Grunburg, because I adored his book and I thought the message he had, especially for Abu Dhabi, where they built this incredible wealth through oil, and eventually that's going to start running out, so they really need to develop an industrial, technological infrastructure to sustain the country once the oil starts to reduce. So I thought Martin would be perfect for that and this idea of change. So I got hold of Martin by email. He gave me his phone number. I rang him up and told him, said, look, Martin, I'd love you to come over and attend our TEDx Alain conference. Speak there, share your wisdom. We don't know how many people will be there. I mean, it's not going to be for 5 months. But we think there's going to be about 200, maybe 250 people there. And we'll put the video online so people can watch it. We'll also have live streaming so people can see it live. We can't pay you because the TED license doesn't allow us to pay you. So you'll be flying in and we'll pay for all your expenses. And Martin thought about this and he realised that he's going to be away from his family for about a week with flying in, the time difference and the jet lag, so he needed to arrive a couple of days before. But it didn't take him long to say, Chris, I'm in. And I think the reason why he committed so readily was because he is so profoundly affected by this concept of habits. He wants to share this message with the world, and here was an opportunity to get his message out even more. True to his word, in May 2011, Martin came out and delivered a speech at TEDx LA. He spoke for about 18 minutes. He made a massive impression on the audience. We didn't get 200 to 250 people through the door. We got 850 people through the door. There were more than 1,000 people at any one time on the live web stream. It was an extraordinary success. At the end of his speech, people were coming up to Martin asking him questions, and he hung around for the rest of the afternoon, and people were getting him to sign books that he had a few copies around. So he really wowed the audience, a terrific guy. Here's another picture of that I've got. Now, on the front row of the conference were my wife and 2 children. And this is them. This is Toby, who's 12, and Felix, who's 9. And Toby, especially at 12, he really understands the importance of study for his future life, and to make sure he gets good results in his exams. And so, like any father, I share with him my enthusiasms, and I've talked to him at length about the power of habits, emphasised by reading Martin's book. And I said, I once said, I'm inviting Martin to come, I hope he's going to come. And then I was able to tell him that Martin is coming. And then when Martin did come, I say, Toby was on the front row with the rest of my family. And after Martin's talk, Toby went up and was asking Martin questions. And in the evening, Martin and I were having dinner, and a guy called Giorgio was there who runs TEDx Dubai, and done that for a number of years, phenomenally successful event. And Martin was enthusing very kindly about Toby's great passion and interest in habits, and said, this guy is going to go far, an amazing young man. And Martin said, I've got a spare copy of my book. And he inscribed the book to Toby. And this is what he wrote. Toby, thanks so much. Greatness lies ahead. And it's a little gesture, but it speaks a lot about an individual. And I think that we are all the result of the little gestures we take in life. And that little gesture will always stick with my son. I find it very touching, and I even feel it touching me now that he did such a thing. And I think the reason I'm sharing this with you is that kind of a spirit, that kind of generosity, thoughtfulness, interest, is really what is part of Martin's nature and what he has put into his book, The Habit Factor, which he has spent 2 years putting together. It's not something he threw together or wrote a few notes and got interviewed by a ghostwriter and they put it together, and it only really says 1 or 2 things, but it's just about good enough to be on a bookshelf. No, this is a really significant piece of work, which I think will be referenced by a lot of people in the years to come. And I enthuse to you this book, and I encourage you to get hold of it, and as a consequence use Martin's apps certainly there for iPhone and Android, probably more still. So please get hold of the book, and if I can be any support to you, if you have any questions about this recording or my other videos, by all means get hold of me through my website, triumphoverchallenges.com. This is me, Christopher John Payne. I wish you a great day, and make a habit of having a great productive day. Take care.